Hello everybody, welcome to my reaction to E3 video. So in this video I'm just going to be giving you some thoughts on some of the games that I thought were noteworthy from this year's E3, which had a lot of games, and so we're just going to jump right into it here. So the Sony press conference was very good as always, and has always been kind of outstanding on the front of exclusives, and this year we got some look at some of those new ones. So I'm going to start out with The Last of Us 2, which is the continued story of Ellie and Joel. And this one seems to have changed the level design up a little bit and make the combat more flowing, and also sort of has somehow a darker tone than the first one, at least judging by the gameplay trailer that we got. And really excited to see where this one goes with the story at least. So the next one I have is Death Stranding, which is the very weird sci-fi game from the creator of Metal Gear Solid, Hideo Kojima. And while we don't know a whole lot more about it from the gameplay trailer, we know that it's more of a stealth game now, in that there are monsters that are invisible, but you have a device that can shimmer and see them, and it looks like you're going to be delivering packages. So again, we don't really know how this all fits into anything, but we got two new celebrities in the role, so this one should be something really interesting considering projects that Hideo Kojima has worked on before. So a new announcement for a game that we did not know about before is Resident Evil 2. And this is Resident Evil 2 reworked from the ground up, not just a remaster, completely redone. And instead of having the more top-down camera angle or fixed camera angle, it now has an over-the-shoulder camera angle like Resident Evil 4, which I don't think they're going to change the combat to be more like Resident Evil 4, but they're definitely going to make it so that it has more of a modern feel. So the next one I have here is Spider-Man, which is another exclusive to the PlayStation 4, and it's developed by Insomniac Games, and it sort of seems to be a blend of the best parts of Arkham and stealth and just parkour in general. And it really seems to just sort of come together to be like this perfect Spider-Man game, bringing in villains from all the different parts of the series. And I'm really excited for this one. So from the Ubisoft press conference, the biggest announcement we got was for a new Assassin's Creed. So the last one, they took 2 years to make instead of having a yearly release, and it really turned out well with Assassin's Creed Origins, which is set in Egypt. And this one, they're having be set in Greece, titled Assassin's Creed Odyssey. So the setting is the Peloponnesian War in 431 BC, and this one just looks a lot like Origins, which I think is a good thing because Origins was a very fun game. So the next one we have here is The Division 2, which is the sequel to the somewhat disappointing Tom Clancy's Division, and this one, instead of being set in New York City, is set in Washington DC, which I think could be really interesting considering the way they did New York City was probably the best I've ever seen in a video game before, and they seem to have just done more tweaks to the combat to make it a little bit more exciting and less random in terms of the way the Dark Zone works. So with Microsoft now jumping into it, starting off with a strong exclusive, Halo Infinite, which is the continuation of Master Chief's story, the 6th mainstream Halo game. And the interesting thing about this one is that the trailer didn't reveal too much, but the biggest thing it did reveal was it sort of had a little bit of a new art style, and the engine for the game, called the Slipstream engine, was made just so that this game could actually run, because the actual game idea that they had was so ambitious that they had to create their own new engine in order to basically make this game the best that it could be. So I'm really looking forward to what they do with this one. And again, we don't have a lot of information on it, but all we know is that it's a continuation of Master Chief's story. So next one I have here is Gears of War 5. I don't play Gears of War personally, but I know that for some people this is a pretty big series, and this is just looks like to be another one by the new developer who made Gears of War 4, along with some new tactical type games, which I'm not too sure about. The next big one we have here is Cyberpunk 2077. So 5 years ago, we got a teaser for this game, and after 5 years, we're finally getting some new information on it. So what we got at E3 was a new story trailer, and basically the premise of the game, instead of being a third-person game like The Witcher, which CD Projekt Red developed and was critically acclaimed, a third-person action RPG, this one is a first-person RPG, and there was a lot of backlash to this at first, but I think they really could do something interesting with this concept. and I think they could prove the fans wrong in this sense. So the next big one we have here is Fallout 76. Now this one we got an announcement about a little bit before E3, but it's an online Fallout game with dozens of players in the same world, which has never really been done before. The map itself is 4 times bigger than Fallout 4, which is already a pretty huge map, which means that you're not going to run into players that much, which is their way of trying to stop griefing in games that suffer from it that are similar, like DayZ and H1Z1 and Ark Survival Evolved. And they're basically trying to remedy that by having less people, not hundreds of people in a server, just dozens. And I think it could work, but we'll have to see with this one. And it's also a prequel to the actual Fallout games from the very first one. So the next one I have here is Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. So this is From Software's next game, the developers of Dark Souls and Bloodborne, which are some of the most brutally difficult games in recent memory. And this setting is in feudal Japan, and the gameplay itself looks like Dark Souls, but a lot faster and really flowing, I guess you could say it. Less strategic than Dark Souls in a sense. It just looks a little bit more almost arcadey, but that's due a lot in part to the grappling hook which they showed off, and I think that could make for some really interesting gameplay options there, and I'm really looking forward to this one. So these next ones I got to list off, there were just so many announcements at E3 that I can't go too much in depth into these ones, but we got an announcement for Just Cause 4, Forza Horizon 4, Dying Light 2, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Jump Force, a new PUBG map, which also featured a riot shield in the trailer, which could be a new item coming in soon. The PUBG map seems to be snowy themed. We got Cuphead DLC with a 3rd playable character and a new island to discover, and this one is really good just because of how good Cuphead was, and just more of it is a great thing. Another one that we got was Battletoads, which hasn't been seen in a very long time and was a classic of the 90s. And the last one I have here of Microsoft is Session, which is basically a kickstarted take on Skate 4, but not called Skate 4 necessarily, with the dual stick skateboarding control layout. So the conference I'm going to go over here is Bethesda. Now with Bethesda, they always go all out with their E3, and this year was probably the biggest they've ever done. Before we even got to E3, we knew about Rage 2 from a leak, and then that being officially confirmed, and also Fallout 76. So when the E3 conference rolled around, people were just like, they have to have something big in store. Like, there's got to be something huge, and players got what they wanted. They got an announcement for The Elder Scrolls 6. Now, this has been almost a decade since Skyrim came out, and it was only a short little teaser, and it's shown to be a long ways off, probably the next console generation, and since it's only in pre-production right now. But the fact that they're working on it and they're aware that fans want this is a good thing. And the other thing we got was a new IP from them, Starfield, which has been leaked before, now officially confirmed, and there'll be more information about that at a future event. And also we got Doom Eternal, which is a sequel to the Doom reboot from 2016, which is very good. And we also got a weird announcement of an iOS game, or just mobile game in general, for Elder Scrolls Blades, which could be interesting. Now, the big one, the big elephant in the room here, is Nintendo's press conference. While it didn't feature a lot of games, especially as many in years prior, the games that it did feature are absolutely huge. So first, we got Super Mario Party, which is Mario Party 11, and it looks to innovate with the Switch in new ways, having multiple ways to play the same mini-games, which is a very interesting concept, and I really hope it works out, because the Switch has proven to be a very successful console for Nintendo, and I hope that they continue with their great games like Odyssey and Breath of the Wild. So we also got more information on Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, which are more casual RPGs of Pokemon. They're not the mainstream series because they implement the Pokemon Go catching mechanic, but they still have battles and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see where this one goes. I'm not so sure about it, but they could prove me wrong. We also got some indie titles on Switch, including the release on the day of E3 of Hollow Knight, which is an excellent game. If you've never played it, this is a great time to pick it up on the Switch. But the biggest thing in the room, at least for me and for a lot of other people too, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now, this announcement absolutely blew me away when I learned that this game will feature all characters from all the previous games. Over 60 characters in the roster. It's absolute insanity. Everything. They have Snake back. They have Ice Climbers. They have everything you could ever think of. Everyone that's ever been in a Smash game is back for this game on the Switch. And that is absolutely amazing to me. And the other thing, and it just stole the entire E3 for me at least. They also announced a new fighter, which is the Inklings from Splatoon, which was to be expected because in the original teaser from May, we saw the Inklings as some of the characters before we saw the Fiery Smash logo. But the biggest one is Ridley from Metroid is being implemented into Smash. Now, fans have been asking for this for a very, very, very long time, ever since the series started. And now they are finally getting their hands on Ridley, who seems to have a really interesting moveset in the sense that he has a side special specifically that doesn't really act like anything else that's been seen in the game. Basically, it's a tail lash, and it goes out to the side pretty long because Ridley is a really big character. And while it will only do 5 damage on most hits, if you hit it at the very end of the tail in this little sweet spot, it'll go into a slow motion similar to Little Max, a Super Punch from Smash 4, and basically it will do 60% damage to them, which is absolute insanity, and also counts as a smash attack, so pretty much instant death if it's anywhere besides the very beginning of a match. And I really think this is a good thing for the Smash community because it's something that they've been asking for a very, very long time. And in general, all of the visuals are updated. The Breath of the Wild stage that they showed off looks absolutely gorgeous and really just takes all the amazing backgrounds from Breath of the Wild and manages to put it into like this little tiny Super Smash Bros. Stage, which I think is really impressive. And in general, the visuals, the new art style really looks great on all the characters. Seeing them updated to full, like Solid Snake, got some new ones. Zelda is now her Link Between Worlds model, and Ganondorf is back to his Ocarina of Time model. And Link, there is now 3 versions of him: Toon Link, Young Link, and Regular Link. And Regular Link is now the Breath of the Wild version, which is a really, really cool thing for them to do considering how successful the game was. So that wraps it up for me. There are so many things to be excited for in the coming future. A lot of them are off until 2019, but we still have quite a few things to look forward to in 2018, like Smash 5, which has a release date of December 7th, 2018, and I cannot wait to play this one because I do not have a Switch yet, but I am getting it this week, and I can't wait to play these critically acclaimed games like Odyssey and Breath of the Wild, as well as playing some Mario Kart because Mario Kart is one of my favorite games of all time. So I really look forward to all these games, and I would like to hear what you guys are looking forward to, what you guys saw. I realized that I missed a lot of games, but that's just because the press conference was so big, and these are just the things that I'm personally really looking forward to. And if you can leave it down in the comments section, any games that you are looking forward to and why you thought they were good, and we can have a discussion about that down there. So thank you for watching this, and if you enjoyed hearing my opinion, let me know because you guys are the audience and I want to hear your opinions on this style video versus one of my Fortnite montages or a CSGO montage. So let me know, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.